What do you even need to get?
A fucking razor, a whiteboard, and what else do I fucking need? Fucking groceries. Oh hell yeah. Okay, show results. See that? Optimal.
Keep on taking, and no, I ain't taking. We can keep on dating, I keep on demonstrating.
I gotta take a stab at it. Not too good for me, my dear.
Favor? Can you go in my
What?
front car and grab my lighter?
Son of a bitch. Fuck. Fuck it. Fucking I missed it, man. It's all smoky.
Oh my. I low-key feel like I could have did this.
Fucking old ass bitch.
I keep calling Cheetos Doritos.
Come on, whoop. There it is, I'm back.
Hold up. Third place, Chris Jumpster. Third place. Second place.
You probably think I'm a real corny son of a bitch, don't you? Don't worry, me too. Well, it's been a while since I last recorded a video like this. That's because, well, my last video I was, I think I got a little too emotional. I was getting overly emotional, like just a bit too much. And I said to myself, next time I do this, I'm gonna try to stay more calm and content, you know, so I don't lose my shit too much, right? So, anyways, I'm back. It's been a while. When's the last time you guys been outside? Like, really, like, just go out into the woods. Like, here, let me show you. Pretty bad if I don't say so myself. You know, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. In the world, I mean, like, I know it's like a lot of people don't really give a shit, and some people looking, are you just able to ignore it all and just not worry about it? I'm not that guy. Right? I'm not that guy. I don't know what it is. It's just I've never been able to just ignore what's going on in the world. I've always kept myself updated, right? And I've always had to know what was going on. I don't know why. It's just me. I was never able to just ignore what was going on in the world. I wouldn't want to anyways. Even though it's sometimes it stresses me out sometimes, but I try not to let that happen, but sometimes it does, and it might seem like maybe I shouldn't be doing this, right? Maybe I should just like not worry about what's happening, but not me. Even though it's stressing me out, I still prefer to do it anyways, just because I'd rather, know what's going on than and like be maybe a bit stressed out about it than not know anything and then, you know, be like not worried or anything, right? But I would rather know than not know. And yeah. I don't know. Like I know why I like this, but like I don't know why exactly I'm like this. Like to a lot of people this ain't that deep, right? But to me, it's always been. In the past, when I was younger, I used to always pretend that, you know, I always used to act like I was dumb or stupid a lot of times. I'd always act like I didn't know either, just to fit in, right? And yeah, when I was a boy, I used to always just pretend that I was just another stupid kid, right? That really didn't give a shit about it either. But I only did that in order to just seem normal, in order to just, you know, fit in and not really give my own opinion about anything, really. I think a problem I have, and I feel like a problem with a lot of people, actually, I say most people, is that we tend not to think for ourselves. We tend to just wait and see. Like, we see something happen and we wait and see what other people think, or we wait to see what our algorithm thinks of it so we can form what we think. We wait for our algorithm to tell us what to think so we can form our own opinion on things, right? And I think that's where a lot of problems in you know, in a democracy or just in, you know, in the whole world, really, is like, that's a bigger problem than we think, because that's how they, oh shit, hold on one second. Shit, oh, it's fucking chilly out here today, eh? I think I decided to come out to the woods here because you know, I tend to get caught up in civilization too much. Sometimes I forget that, you know, there is beauty found out here. This is what, you know, this is peace right here. This is all very peaceful. It really calms yourself down. It just makes you feel good, you know. Even though it's chilly, it's still like there's something very calming about being out here. It's a lot of that's how they control the masses, right? Because if you control what people think, then you could control who they vote for, right? Or control whether or not they do vote or not, you know. It almost makes me forget how cooked we all are. Well, maybe we're not actually cooked, but we could talk about it. All right, let's talk about what's going on. Okay, so we got a lot going on. We got, you know, you know, we got the average conservatives, we got the average liberals, then we got the really, really far left woke ass lefties, right? And then we got the really far right people, and we got, you know, we got a bunch of foreigners, immigrants. We got, you know, South Asian immigrants in the UK and Europe. We got a bunch of Muslim, Arab immigrants. We got Nazis. We got a different form. We got two different types of Nazis. Actually, I'd say three different forms of people. What people would call maybe Nazis. We got you know, wokies. We got transgenders. That's the usual shit, right? And we got you know, normal conservatives. So we got the, you know, the pro-Israel crowd of, you know, a bunch of compromised politicians. A whole bunch of lovely people, all types of lovely people, you know. And then you got people like me, fucking Indian boy here, just a native kid, eh? We have atheists, Muslims, evangelicals, Catholics, a whole bunch to talk about. And we got a lot of going on in the world in our governments, Western governments. I was going to talk about the United Kingdom, then maybe about the U.S. Yeah, the U.S., the United Kingdom, and even Canada, right? And that's talk about what's going on in the government there and just what's overall like the people, what's happening with the people there, their immigration crisis here. We got a lot to talk about. Oh, and another thing is I sympathize with the Palestinian people, all the women and children, the innocent women and children there who are really going through it right now. But a lot of something else is that the media hasn't been talking about. Like, media and Hollywood is like, they've been really silent about it, is what's happening in Nigeria. It's that, I don't know if it's because maybe they're Christians or because it's black on black crime, but like they're getting genocided over there. It's like the jihadist terrorist group over there is just they're trying to wipe out the Christian population there. It's just they're killing them. There's like, I believe there's like something like 21 Christian Nigerians a day are being killed, just like every day. And so far there's been like I think like close to like over 100,000 that's been killed in the last I'd say decade, and nobody seems to be talking about this. And I think it was 7,000 Christians murdered a year in Nigeria simply because of their faith. And that's something that I wanted to bring up. It's just, maybe it's because they're black on black people killing black people, and it just doesn't fit the narrative, or maybe because it's Muslims killing Christians, so it doesn't fit the Western, narrative, right? So, although President Trump did bring it up a while back, he did mention it, and I guess that's good. That's a good thing he did, I guess. Whether or not he actually cares, who knows? And another thing is Sudan. Sudan is also people in Sudan are really getting it right now. It's really bad. I don't know if you ever looked all eyes on Sudan, or if you looked at Sudan on Google Maps lately, but if you look at Google Maps, you see fields of blood. Like the overhead maps view, you look down, you see just fields of bodies, and the sand is just stained like black from all the blood of the people that are being massacred there. And it's who is doing this? Well, it's really a group, but anyways, hold on. Before I go off into that, it's just like, let's just say, if you look at Google Maps in Sudan lately, you'll see a lot of dead people on the maps. You see freaking buildings and fields just loaded with corpses and the ground stained like a dark red from all the blood, and that shit's heartbreaking. I think everybody should do a prayer for all these people here, and all the innocent people there that are just really like losing their lives for like no reason at all. like innocent people. Like I seen a video of a mother with her like 3 children getting harassed by one of the terrorists or whatever, or the militia, and she dies, and her kids, they get murdered. It's terrible to see. It's terrible. And oh yes, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about for sure. But it's getting pretty chilly out here. I think I might go inside. Hold on. 1 sec. Beautiful, folks. You know, this is really what the creator of the universe intended for us to. I think he intended for all of us to enjoy the beauty of nature, the beauty of this world. Because like, I don't think enough people come out here to appreciate the wilderness wherever they are in the world. And I think that affects people's health. When people get so used to being inside and being around civilization, they really they lose themselves a bit in their head. They lose themselves. They forget that we live on planet Earth, and we're part of this land. You humans are like, we are born in this earth, and all the animals, the trees, and the plants, like, they're all a part of us. We're related. We're like, oh shit, I'm out of breath. But like, we're related to each other in a way, you know? We're all born of the same nature. And this is like, you know, it's all connected. And I think that's the problem, because when we spend so much time, you know, in civilization, in man-made environments, we tend to lose ourselves a bit with our brothers and sisters. And we tend to lose ourselves in our own consciousness, because we forget that this is all us. We all came from the same creator, all of us, and that makes us siblings, right? Brothers and sisters, related. We might not be the same species, but we're from the same planet, and we are from the same father, and that makes us related. And when you don't go out and spend time with your family, it really affects you, whether you realize it or not. Whew. Wow. That was chilly. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Anyway. Did I mention that the Rapid Support Force, you know, the one that's carrying all the killings in Sudan, is being funded by the United Arab Emirates? Did I mention that? It's almost like they have a beneficial. They're doing it for a benefit, something to do with the land there, you know, resources. I'm not getting too far into that, but yeah, it's not really mentioned too much, but yeah, these militant groups, the RSF, it's actually like, you know, the weapons they have, they came from, you know, UA cargo planes or cargo ships, was it? Anyways, the weapons they have, that's where they came from, and it's almost like they're being funded from it secretly, of course, but. I kind of, I mentioned this in a previous video, but I think these white people, man, they just have it too hard. They really do. It's for the past, how long? It's like it's like within the society and the public education system has been taught that white people are being told or conditioned to hate themselves. They're being told that their ancestors were just pure evil and racist, and all they did was oppress other people of color, and they should just be ashamed to be who they are. And now, the average white man today has no really pride in his ancestors, and I think that's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. It's like, I know when I was in school, I was just, I was always led to believe that, that colonialism was just all bad. It's just all bad. All of it is bad. And it done no good, and it's just pure evil, and everyone should hate it. And white people should be ashamed that their ancestors did that. That's what it seems like to me, what's going on in school. That's what I've always seemed to be led to believe. And, well, me, it's like, I'm that type of guy that always does. I'm a big nerd, right? I love studying history, and I like to study all of it. Not just what's taught in schools or, Hollywood movies and documentaries, but, I like to go extra. And I know that's not true. It's not all evil. Like, colonialism, it sounds evil because we've been conditioned to think so, but it's like, yeah, it resulted in a lot of evil things, but it's like, are we just gonna ignore the good that it did? We just like, I think it's time for everyone to acknowledge and be grateful for all the good that it's done, right? But yeah, it was bad that like a lot of people, indigenous people of the area were often killed or had to be pushed out of their homes and relocated to somewhere else, or that they had to be colonized or maybe forced to convert or change their ways. That is very bad. But I like all this, all right? I like speaking English. I like being able to speak English. Okay, as bad as civilization has a lot of, problems with it, it's good to have civilization. I like having a roof over my head. I like being in a room with, heater, lights, heat source, screens, being able to record this. I like having all that. All right, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not grateful for all this. I'm grateful that, that we're able to connect, the Europeans and the Native Americans were able to come here and share each other's culture and, share each other's stuff, right? And with that brought a lot of good things, Western technology, European technology, Jesus Christ. They brought Jesus Christ to us. It hasn't always been pretty. A lot of it came from forced conversion, but I think, let's say in Latin America, a lot of it, the Spanish Empire was pretty cruel with the native people in most cases, and it was a lot of forced conversions. But I'd say most Latin Americans aren't upset about that at all. They're pretty grateful actually that the Europeans came and brought Christ to them and brought Western civilization to them. Most of them are pretty grateful, right? The only ones that don't seem to be grateful are white ass Latin Americans pretending that they're really native, right? So they gotta pretend that, you know, it's all bad. But another thing I noticed is that now, you know, a lot of Mexicans are now sympathizing with the Aztec Empire. Are we serious? like they just take it so far. It's like, oh, I really hate to, you know, call it colonialism, right? And I hate the European colonialism, so I gotta sympathize with the most fucking, the savage, most evil, cruel empire that existed in the entire New World at that time, right? It's like, oh yeah, we're fighting colonialism by sympathizing with this evil ass empire, right? It's like the Aztec Empire, dude. They were cutting people's hearts out. You know, they were capturing people, bringing them up to temples, and, you know, cutting out their hearts off and offering them to their demonic gods, right? They're offering it to demons, right? And yeah, I'm not saying that the empire was like all bad, because they did, you know, they're really smart. They had a really crazy, you know, very impressive civilization, right? And pretty cool culture, I guess. But their overall imperialism is like, they were very cruel with the people they colonized, right? The people they conquered, right? They made, you know, the fellow native tribes that they took over, like they had to made them pay like lots of tribute, and they fought intentional wars that they didn't want to end, because they needed the wars to happen so they could capture more enemies, bring them back, and cut their hearts out so they could offer it to the demons, right? And so when the Spanish show up, right? They show up, they see all this shit, they see the human sacrificing and the cannibalism shit, and they're, you know, they're like, this has got to end. We got to put a stop to this. This is savage. This is terrible. We got to stop this, right? And so the Spanish, right? They team up with a shit ton of surrounding native tribes that were, you know, that are like being oppressed by the Aztec Empire. And so when Hernan Cortez marches on Tenochtitlan with an army that's like 5% Spanish, 95% native, allied with natives that wanted to get rid of the Aztecs too, the oppressive Aztecs. And so, you know, they win the war. They drive the Aztecs out. The Aztec Empire crumbles. 95% of that army were natives fighting for their freedom. And now I see a lot of modern day natives sympathizing with the Aztec Empire because they think they're doing the right thing by, you know, pushing back colonialism. Even though it's really, let's be real, in that war, the Aztecs were the bad guys, okay? Say what you want about the Spanish, but in this war, in this particular situation, the Aztec were the bad guys. I don't see any reason why anybody should be sympathizing with them. Okay, if you want to embrace the culture of the civilization and stuff, but like, it's fine to be like, oh yeah, I have Aztec ancestry, it's cool, like, but like, you want to really like sympathize with them, be like, oh yeah, let's root for the demon worshippers, the cannibals, right? It's like, you're really like, you think you're being native by supporting that. It's like, most natives didn't like the Aztec empires. Most natives are willing to team up with the Spanish to take them out. I mean, who's the real native here? Like, it's like, that's something good. That's something good. That's something good the European colonialism did, is get rid of that shit, right? And I think that's a problem. It's a problem even here. Like, it's, you know, as you know, white people have been led to believe that their ancestors were just terribly evil, and they should be ashamed to be who they are. And all the other non-whites, right? They've been told that, you know, the Europeans, they colonized you and they oppressed you, and you should hate them for it. I think it's a lot of problems within, you know, the native communities, is that so many people have like made it their entire lives of just hating white people. It's like, it's just so PMO. It's like it's like their entire persona like relies on the concept that us, you know, natives and whites, like that we hate each other. They say it's for peace, but I'd say most times it's not. It's not about equality. To them, it's like that's how they make a living. They make a living off of hating each other. That us natives and whites, like the racism, they need the racism to still exist, so they incite it, and so we could keep hating each other, and that's their entire lives. They don't know how to exist without that. It seems like it's like they just want us to keep hating each other, and they've been conditioned to believe that, you know, through the school system or whatever. And I think that's the problem, is like there can never be peace if it's like this. If, you know, eventually, like, it's gonna turn out really bad, and especially for white people, because, you know, it's really bad for them because they're dying. Okay, not getting genocided, but they're getting replaced everywhere. As it seems like almost everywhere. It's like it's happening in Germany, it's happening in the UK, it's happening in France, it's happening here, it's happening in the United States. Maybe not as bad there because now the conservatives are still in charge for now. For a certain reason, not necessarily a good reason, but I don't expect it to keep up like this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. Take a look at these. These are the NGOs in charge. Well, not in charge, but these are the NGOs specifically influencing most of Europe and Canada, right? Especially this one. See this one? Take a big look at that one. All right? This one's been charged everywhere. It's Canada, a lot of places in Europe, charge of refugees, immigrants, all that good stuff, right? Take a look at these names, all right? Keep your eye on that one. This one. This one. This one. Now, the refugee crisis is getting really bad in Germany, France, and the UK. Very bad in the UK and in Germany. But these are nonprofit organizations. But they work with the governments. The governments, they are really the ones letting these guys in. Now, this is just the NGO organizations, NGOs. These are just the NGOs. These are the names. These are them. This is the CAOs, CEOs. These are the ones, the biggest ones at least. There's plenty of more, but these are the top ones. And in case you were wondering, yeah, they're Jews. They're all Jews. At least the top guys are. Jewish, especially, hold on. The HIAS, Jewish organization, all of it, in case you were wondering. Now, if you think that the migrant crisis was just somehow happened on accident, you're dead wrong. There's no way that this all just happened on accident. There's no way that London is now become, was it 70% not white, non-white? That London is now only 30%, what, like 30% white, actual like English Brits. That's not an accident. Why is the UK government pushing so hard for to be like anti-Islamophobia when like the crime has just skyrocketed, right? In the UK, it's really bad. By the way, in case you didn't know, it's like murder, theft, rape. Like on a scale, it's gotten up there in recent years. Now, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, he's very tough on handling is the Islamophobia that's happening as a result of this, but he's not really making any effort to stop the migrant crisis, right? He's just like, instead of stopping all these refugees from coming in, he's just like trying to stop, the natives, the Brits from hating on them. That's his main issue here. Instead of actually trying to solve the real problem here is and obviously the Brits are very, a lot of them are very mad about this, because obviously these new refugees, all these refugees aren't really contributing well to their British society, right? They seem to be menaces to society, and that's understandable. But the government seems to have suicidal empathy for these people. And, well, who the fuck is Keir Starmer anyways? Now, he's mostly claimed to be an atheist, but he's of Jewish heritage. And he also claimed one time that he is Catholic. Well, grew up Christian, I guess. He did mention that one time, but was he serious? No, because usually he's seen as an atheist, right? He also what was it? Was it the 90s? I think he served in he was in a very pro-communist club. He was in some sort of communist organizations. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was called, but it was a political communist party thing. And yeah, and anyways, as a result of this refugee crisis, he issued something. Well, not necessarily just him, but the UK government has issued a solution called digital IDs. That is supposed to stop the immigration problem. Now, I think they're coming into effect. They'll be mandatory by 2029. This is all off the top of my head, so I might forget some details, but by 2029, it'll be mandatory for every British citizen to have a mandatory digital ID, which means that you have to have one in order to have a job. It will track your bank, your life, your health care. Okay, so your bank, your health care, your history, your work history, your employment history. Perhaps later it could be able to track your online status, your digital footprint, right? You'll be required to have this digital ID in order to work any job in the UK. You means like I'm not joking, like you have to have it by 2029. It will be mandatory to have it in order to work, in order to live in the United Kingdom. So you could probably put two and two together, see what they did here. So the government with the NGOs, they bring all these refugees here, these foreign refugees here, to cause a lot of chaos. And so once the problem gets too big, that they can't just just seem to do nothing about it. They enforce this digital ID thing. You see what they did here, right? They now you gotta have this digital ID of like your face, your health care, your bank, all your information, pretty much. Maybe perhaps later your entire digital footprint if they wanted to. all on this digital ID, and so now they own you. So now that's really bad for the UK, but you know what concerns me a bit is that Mark Carney, said that he would consider this, that he thinks this is a very good idea and he might try this out too, or the Canadian government might try this out for themselves. Now that gets really concerning, because now the government will really own you. They'll really control you then, because now in order to live in the country, you would have to have a digital ID. And if you do something that the government doesn't like, they could take it away. They could take away your job, or they could freeze your bank account. Let's say if you say something offensive on social media, bank account frozen, healthcare stopped, you're done. You're dead. You're bad. Oh shit. Okay. But why? But why? Why are we bringing in so much refugees? Why are we bringing so much foreigners into all these countries? Because in 1908, a Jewish playwright said that we're a melting pot. That's what it was called, the melting pot. It was about grabbing all these people from all across the world into these Western countries, so we could all become one mix of a race. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Anyways, so it's the play was about, grabbing all the people of the world, all the races, right, and mixing them into one. And ever since then, for the next over 100 years, that it's gradually accelerated into the culture of a Western civilization. Now it's like modern day. We've been led to believe that diversity is our strength. That diversity is a strength. And that we need to be more tolerant, right? We need to be more tolerant of everybody, of all people, and of all religions and cultures. Now, that doesn't seem too wrong. That seems fine at first glance, right? Because, they say, diversity is good, and that it's good to, accept people. And, you don't want to be racist, right? But I'm going to call it out for what it is. It's a psyop. Yeah, I said it. It's a psyop. Now, for some reason, these certain people, this certain minority in the world, they seem to be everywhere, all over the world, but they're all not originally from there, but they seem to be everywhere. A lot of them, they like to wear these little funny hats on their head. That particular group, they're associated with them. They seem to love it. They seem to come and bring in all these foreign people into these Western countries, such as Europe and the United States and Canada. And why do they love that so much? Well, let's just say they really don't like Europeans. Why? Well, they don't like anybody. This ain't a secret either. This is what they believe. They think they're racially superior, or maybe not racially or religiously, perhaps racially and religiously. They think they're superior to everybody else. Now they'll never. I don't think any of them would really admit this to anyone that's not them, but that's what they believe. Well, let's just say they hate Europeans in particularly because of it's them who've gotten in the way of their plans the most. All right, it's the Europeans that kicked them out of Europe like over 100 times. It's the Europeans. They hate Germany because, you know, the Nazis. They hate France because they burned their holy book. They hate, you know, the UK for, you know, colonizing the entire world, evangelizing the world and bringing civilization to most of the world and bringing the name Jesus Christ. They hate the Spanish for that too. And, you know, a little secret, they seem like they really hate Muslims, and they use a lot of, you know, in the United States, they use the politicians and they use Christians to help them. They use the term Judo-Christian values as if they're supposed to be the same, when really they're kind of opposites of each other. So it's like an oxymoron, right? I'm gonna die for this. Oh shit, I'm so dead. They right now, so seems like every other country, so most of Europe has lost control. Most of Europe has become liberal, right? And Canada too, and it's been infested by a bunch of foreigners, right? And that's fine to them. It seems like that would be fine to them, but not the USA. The United States is doing pretty conservative right now at the moment because, well, why? It seems like they need them right now. It seems like because of what's happening in their homeland, right? Israel, Palestine, that all because of that conflict. They need the support of the Americans right now. So they don't want, you know, they don't want the United States to go liberal yet, for now at least. They need them to stay conservative because if it's conservative, they're going to have more support. Now, if the United States were to go liberal, they might lose their support of the United States, militarily wise. And if they lose the United States militarily wise, they're done. They're cooked. They have too many enemies in the Middle East, and it would end bad for them. So right now they need the U.S. to support them. And that's why all the politicians in the U.S. are compromised. Israel's got them really blackmailed, it seems like. So they have unconditional support from the United States right now. So they're using them, and they want to use the people by pushing a term that, you know, they want the American people to hate the Muslims and love Jews because we're the same. We're like the same, right, guys? We're, you know, Judo-Christian values. So they trick all the evangelicals and Protestant Christians over there to support Jews as if they're friends, when really, if the Jews hate anyone the most, it would be Christians, right? Because even, let's just say, these funny hat people, you know, I don't know, someone they hate more than any Muslim or even Hitler is, Jesus Christ. That's their enemy. That's their top enemy. Their motivation seems to be destroy Europe, destroy the Western world. They seem to, now, it seems like they hate everybody. They think they're superior to everybody, but particularly Europeans and Western civilization. So now they use everybody else, right? They want to make it seem like they hate the Muslims and they hate the Arabs, right? But right now they'll use them to take them all the way over to all these European countries so they could wreck up Europe, and then keep genociding them in the Middle East, right? That's how it goes. And they'll bring a bunch of other races to these white countries, but they'll never want to see. They don't really care about bringing, the people from the white people from the white countries to the brown countries, right? So they wanted to seem like they all want to race mix and stuff. It almost this is I want to try to explain this without getting too emotional, without getting really emotional, or sound like I'm crazy. So I'm gonna avoid a lot of topics, so I could stay calm, just so I can stay normal and not get too all into it, right? But you get the gist, They seem to, really not like Europeans, so they seem to be doing everything. They want to seem to get rid of them by, mixing them up, getting them to, race mix up with, other foreigners, right? And if this keeps up within like a couple hundred years, I'd say, European or white people will completely be gone if it keeps up like this. But I don't think that's going to happen particularly, but if the rate continues to spiral up, that's how it will end. But I don't think that'll ever actually happen. It's the same thing with Native people, right? A lot of Native people, we've been conditioned to say, like, we live in a diverse society, we don't want to be racist, so it's okay to, date other people, right? And it's there isn't much of us left. Like how many of us are actually are actually Native, right? Because, a lot of people know, they say, oh, I'm Native, I live. It's like, yeah, you like being Native, right? But you don't know how to speak your indigenous language. You don't really know anything about your people's history other than the basic stuff, and plus your boyfriend's white, so, and you're probably gonna want to have kids with your white boyfriend, right? So now your kids are gonna be half white, or maybe you're already half white yourself, so your kids are just gonna be white, and when they have kids, they're probably gonna do the same thing as you, and so now whatever, so now your entire Native bloodline has just been pretty much gone now. It's your bloodline has turned into white people, and no, that's not necessarily bad morally, but it's that's how people die out, right? People die out because of that, and if this is how, if people continue like this, it's there's gonna be no more natives left, because within 100 years, if we just keep not sticking together, we'll disappear. Our skin, our blood will be gone, the language will be gone, the culture will be gone within 100 years, right? And then that's concerning on itself. That's why now this might not seem that deep to a lot of people, but it has to me, because we're all gonna die, right? And when we die, we're all gonna have to stand before God, and when you stand before God, you can't just say, oh, I didn't want to be racist. He's gonna, God might question you, is why didn't you stand up for your people? I didn't want to be racist, or virtue was not convenient at the time, or that I decided that I didn't care enough, and I decided to just chase whatever my heart desired, and I was going to go for that girl, that white girl, and I was just going to chase money or whatever, do what I want to do, get a fancy car, and not give a shit about, preserving my bloodline or honoring my ancestors or carrying the history or learning my language. I just let it all die so I could do my own thing, right? And it's not, that's not going to sound like a good excuse when you have to answer to, you have to answer before God, and you have to tell your ancestors that, try telling that to your ancestors who fought, bled, and died for you to be here, right? Who sacrificed so much for you to stay alive and be here, right? And it seems like a slap to the face to just whatever, it doesn't matter, it's not that deep, I'm gonna just do what I want. And then within a couple generations, your entire bloodline of who you were is gone. It's gone. So that's a problem that seems like nobody's willing to talk about. That's a problem only seems like very few people are willing to talk about. And because, you know, people don't want to seem racist, or it's like, it's just never required. It's just never set into them. It's like they've never even thought about this sometimes. Like, that's what it seems like. Or maybe they are thinking about it, but they just don't care, or they just don't want to seem like extreme or racist or something like that. It's like, it's not about race, man. It's like, it's just about sticking together. It's just about preserving your heritage, or preserving your culture, your language, right? And unfortunately, if you don't stick together, you're not, it's like, you can't really say you're preserving who you are if you're not sticking to who you are, sticking to your own. And I don't want to shame anybody to say, oh, if you want to do this, or if you don't want to like learn the language, or if you want to date this white person, then you're a disgrace to your, you know, you're a disgrace. Then no, I don't want to make it seem like that, because there isn't really nothing wrong with that morally. It's just, it seems like a slap in the face to, you know, everything of who you are. And I just want to say, like, it's something to think about, something to consider. Now, I'm not saying you have to do it. You have to do what I'm doing, everything, you know. But it's just something to consider in your head, right? Something to think about. But it doesn't mean you have to feel guilty or something. But, yeah, something to think about. Because it's like, oh, yeah, we gotta practice our culture more. We gotta preserve. It's like, are we really, like, honey, you can't speak your language. You know nothing about your own culture. You pretend, you know, you make beadwork. You might show up at a powwow. You might think you're doing good, but like really, it's like, are you really like your lover's white? You're having kids with, like, I don't know, a non-native person, and the chances are your kids might do the same. So that within a couple generations, all your nativeness is gone, and there you go, natives. You're no longer preserving anything. It's like, are we really preserving anything really here? Is like, is what we're doing, is like the path, what we really are going on actually going to save us? Oh, this is why I do what I do, because I'm not that guy that just can't just ignore that shit. It's I've always been that kind of person to care about all that. It's just something that's always, it's like, I don't know, maybe it was my dad. My dad always put this in my head that, you know, people around me I've always cared about, you know, my people and stuff. And so this is why I do what I do. It's because if I don't do this, I'm always gonna have that regret in the back of my mind, like, why didn't I do this? Why? It feels like I feel ashamed that I'm just letting this all go. But that's why I do what I do, is because I don't want to feel that feeling. It feels like I'm letting everybody down by not caring. And yeah, so this is why I'm here. This is why I had to give up a lot of things. This is why I had to give up a lot of people I liked, just to do God's will, man. Do the Lord's work. Do what I'm supposed to be doing. Honor my ancestors, you know, all that good stuff. And I say this everything I'm saying, I say this as a racially mixed person. I'm pretty mixed myself. This is why, so I would know, I'd understand. So, and imagine if I you know, just don't care, and, you know, what if I have kids with someone who's racially mixed like me, but not the same as me, you know, someone who's like different race, then now my children are gonna be all over the place. Who the hell would they be? I mean, they'd be my children, right? There'd be nothing really wrong with them as people, but like, as for an identity, they're like, what identity do they have at this point? If it's like they have like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I already got some of that in me. Now I like it. I like being a diverse. I could, go which ways. I have multiple cultures to take pride in, and languages to learn, right? But like, I gotta pick a side here at some point, right? Do I want to go down this path or this path when it comes to having kids or something, or choosing a lifestyle, right? And I want my kids to be like me. I want them to look Illinois like me, speak it, live it, know it, like and look like me. Maybe have brown skin, handsome, stuff like that. And if I don't do that, then there'll be something else, and they might lose their identity, right? They won't know who they are because they're a little bit of everything. And just like the white people these days, it's like they've lost themselves. It's like the modern white person, right, is probably like been taught to think that their ancestors and their culture, that their ancestors are evil and they don't have a culture, when that just isn't true. So that is a concern of mine that I thought I could tell to this camera. Get it out there, right? Another thing is was like, why do I care so much about this? It's like, it seems so important to me, like the future, like the well-being of future generations has always been something I always seem to give a shit about. Also, another thing is, I guess I'm just like that. I'm just weird. As a kid, I always felt like I had gifts, or I was different, right? Now, I'm going to do a Lord a favor, and I'm going to try to be humble as I can, so I'm not going to start glazing myself with what I like about myself and stuff like that. But I always felt a little gifted in a lot of ways, in certain ways. Maybe not so much in other ways, but more so in different ways, right? So, and with those gifts comes a lot of demons, right? And I've had a lot of demons. A lot. I've done a lot of shit. Let's just say that. I've done a lot of shit. It made me understand, like all of it, like as much shit I did, good shit and bad shit, it made me realize that maybe understand the world a bit more, and maybe understand people a bit more. And it's I don't know. It's like it made me come back to my spirituality, because as a kid I was always like that. I was always a spiritual kid, right? I was always talking to God. As a kid, I was literally always talking to God. I was always honoring people, honoring the animals and the plants and stuff as if they were, my brothers and sisters. I was like that. And I think the enemy saw something in that and tried to ruin it as much as I can. And and then I got a little older. I hit puberty and I strayed away from all of that. Really far away from all of that. Like, I'm talking like really the exact opposite direction of where I was as a little kid to after puberty. The opposite direction. Really far away from all that. And I think now it's like, as time progressed, I'm slowly starting to get back to all that. And because of all the shit that's happened to me, right? Or should I say I've done, right? As a result, all the shit that's happened to me is a result of my own actions, right? And whatever, I'll find another video to get into more detail about this, but yeah, I think what this world needs is they need to realize who they are. I think everyone needs to be proud of who they are and just stop, like, it's not evil to be proud of who you are, and it's not racist to want where you live to stay as who you, like, the kind of people you are, you know, right? It's not racist to want to stick to your own. It's not racist if you want your country to be invaded by a bunch of foreigners, right? It's okay to, if you want the foreigners to leave for the sake of your own people, right? It's okay. It's like, if God didn't want us to see color, he would have made us all the same color. And I think that us being all different colors and speaking different languages and having different cultures is what makes us unique. Now, the funny hat people, they want everyone to be, it seems like they want everyone to be the same. They want us all to become one hybrid race, one hybrid culture of the same. Except for themselves, of course, they tend to stick to themselves. But when it comes to others, they like it when, you know, people mix. And I don't think that's the way to go. It's all right if it's like at a healthy amount. Like I'll be honest, like I live in Canada, right? Canada's always been a diverse nation. It's always, you know, it's had English, Scottish, Irish, French, and, you know, hundreds of different, you know, native people, native languages, cultures, you know, native tribes, nations, right? And it's also had a you know, a large Filipino population. It's always been diverse like that. It's always had all types of different people within the country. Canada's always been a diverse nation, right? But do we really need to be bringing in 1 million Indians each year, right? Do we need to, like, that's a bit overkill. Actually, it's like, it seems to be fucking everything up, because now there's no room left, and yet we're still, let's keep bringing on more, even when there's no houses left to, you know, fit all the people in here. Let's just keep, you know, bringing them in. So, oh shit, not what, they're in everything. They're working all the jobs, you know, they're in the government. Oh shit, what have we done? You know what you did, son of a bitch. So yeah, and then now it's like, this doesn't feel like diversity. This just feels like an invasion. It's now it felt diverse because, well, it felt unique, right? I was a native guy. I was a native kid. There was other types of natives. There was, you know, the white people. So there was a lot of communities with Irish heritage, right? There's French people, right? And now there's too, it feels like there's too much. Now there's just feels like just a damn right about everybody there could ever be in the entire world in one country. And that, I don't think that's right, because I feel like that kills the uniqueness of everything. It's like, yes, diversity is fine, but like, it's also good to preserve your uniqueness, to preserve your own culture, and not just always just mix it up into just become a whole mixed race. I think we should all be unique, right? And it's like, you know, a certain group don't want that. They want everybody to be become one hybrid, and I don't agree with that. Now, I don't want to put the blame on all of them, but, and I don't put the blame on all of them, but it's got to be acknowledged. We've got to acknowledge it, at least. We got to recognize the problem, that it's there, and it's not just some sort of conspiracy theory, that it really is there. And I think everyone should need to start caring a bit more, because yeah, if you want to avoid stressing yourself out, it's great to just pretend it's not happening and avoid all of it. But if you keep doing that, then the problem's really going to get worse. That's why everyone should start giving a little bit more, caring a little bit more about it, and be like, yeah, just be don't be afraid of who you are. Don't be ashamed of who your ancestors are. Like, no, man. It's like they're trying to brainwash us into thinking that us white people were oppressive and us non-whites have been oppressed, so we gotta hate each other now, and we gotta celebrate the fact that white people are disappearing, right? That white people are being replaced, right? It's like, no. Western civilization is superior to other civilizations. Western society is superior to all. I like it. I like living in Western society. I don't want to live anywhere else. So, and this replacement is going to kill the Western society, and it's going to kill the values. And I like this, but I don't like what's happening. So that's why I am the way I am. It's just what it is. I skipped over a lot of things. I avoided talking about a lot of certain things. Now I understand that, leaving out a lot of context might not always be looking good on me. It's like it might cause some people to miss my point here for not mentioning a lot of context, but it's whatever, man. I'll explain more another time. It's whatever. I'll get into about myself or whatever, about other details about the world and stuff. Just right now, I just wanted to fucking talk. I just wanted to feel like saying shit without having to worry about providing the right details, right? Providing the right information. So I did just that, and I feel better now. And I'll try to talk again soon. I won't take 2 months this time. I think I did all right. I think I was pretty calm for most of the time. So in conclusion, we're pretty cooked if we let all these fuck ass politicians play these damn games with us. Yeah. Figured I'd get some stuff off my chest. I haven't did this in a while, so I figured I'd just get on and say shit, I guess. I'll elaborate more what I was talking about in another time. I kind of just went over a lot of different things, but didn't really go too far into each one. And I'll just maybe tomorrow or another day I'll go into that, elaborate a bit what I was talking about. But right for now, I just wanted to start something. Just wanted to, say shit, say stuff that's on my mind, get stuff off my chest, not really go into much detail and stress myself out, just say stuff. But yeah, I say that's about it, guys, for now at least. I'll do better next time, all right? I'll do better. I'll talk better, because right now I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's whatever. Bye.